There are a lot of leg exercises that you could be doing. Things like squats, lunges, and leg press. But once you get past the age of 40, it becomes increasingly important to focus on training economy and choosing the exercises which are going to give you the greatest return on your investment. And when it comes to the lower body, you want to look for exercises that hit strength, mobility, balance, and athleticism without beating up your low back. And no exercise ticks all those boxes better than the Bulgarian Split Squat. In this video, I'm going to show you how to perform this exercise. We're going to take a deep dive into how the position of your foot will change whether you're emphasizing your quads or your hamstrings and glutes. I'm going to show you a variation that is crucial for you to include in your program if you're past the age of 40. And then we're going to talk a little bit about programming and where this might fit into your plan. So let's get started on our deep dive into the Bulgarian Split Squat. So let's start with the setup for the basic Bulgarian Split Squat. Now you're going to need something to put your back foot on. As far as height goes, knee higher-ish is what you're looking for. Most gym benches will be right about there. Let's start with the eternal question. Are we going heels up or laces down? And the answer to this question is, without a doubt, laces down. It's a much stronger, more stable position than being up on the toes where you can get all this unwanted ankle movement. And as far as where to position your front foot, we're going to take a bottoms up approach. So we're going to actually start down here, and then we're going to put the laces on, and then we're going to position the front foot. So we're going to actually set up at the bottom. From here, you can even use your hand on your knee to help you if this range of motion is one you're not yet strong in. Just come up, and you should be right about where you want to be for your split squats. Now, a lot of the time you might need to make little micro adjustments with the back foot, but generally this is going to get you very close to where you want to be. Now, for the split squat itself, we want a nice tall chest. We're going to talk about a few different ways you can move in order to bias more towards the glute or more towards the quad. But for right now, we're just going to focus on the basics. We're going to sit back a little bit, lean slightly forward, and the goal is to bring this back knee to lightly touch the ground before coming back up again. And that is your first progression, right? Your first progression before adding weight should be hitting depth. So in the beginning, maybe you're up here, that's fine. But over the course of time, we want to try and lower down, lightly touch the knee down, and then push up. So as far as some tactile cues, you want to think about pushing more into this side of the foot and not going onto the ball of the foot. And it's okay, if your mobility allows it, for this knee to go out over the toes, right? It doesn't have to stay vertical, although you may want it to, and I'll explain why that is in a second, and then come up. And that's the basic Bulgarian Split Squat. Hey, real quick. If you're over the age of 40, the healthiest thing you could be doing for yourself is to start a daily mobility practice. And in order to help you do that, I've put together a free 7.5-minute morning mobility routine for you. You can get it by clicking the link in the description down below. It's specifically designed to undo a lot of the harm our modern sedentary lifestyles are causing. So it's going to open up your hips, unlock your spine, free up your shoulders, and leave you feeling a hell of a whole lot better. You can get it by clicking the link in the description down below. The big superpower of the Bulgarian Split Squat is how much you're going to get done with this one single exercise. First of all, you're taking care of hip extension, right? You're really getting a good stretch through this hip and this quad. And that is something we all sorely need with the amount of time that we're spending sitting in chairs these days. As far as this leg goes, you're getting quad, you're getting hamstring, and you're getting glute. Now, how much of each of those you're going to get is going to depend on where you put this foot. So if I'm doing my bottoms up setup and I really want to emphasize the quad, and more specifically the VMO, which is this teardrop shaped muscle right here that's crucial for both knee health and performance, I'm going to bring this foot a little closer, right? And I'm going to let that knee track forward out over the toe. In fact, we're going to make a point of pushing that knee out over the toe, and that's what's going to really get into this right here. From here, I stand up, and then when I go back down, my goal is to reverse that and go straight down while pushing the knee forward, right? So this is going to bias a lot more towards the VMO, a lot more to the quad. Now, if I want to get more into the hamstring and glute, I'm gonna bring the foot a little further forward, right? And here I really wanna focus as much as possible on keeping the shin vertical and the weight very much in my heel. From here, I'm gonna come up. Now my direction is going to be different. Instead of going straight down, now I wanna think about leaning forward and sitting backwards, right? So I get this really big stretch on the glute, getting into the hamstrings as well, and then I wanna keep my shin vertical as I drive forward and up. And that is how you can bias the Bulgarian split squat to more quad dominant or more hammy glute dominant. But either version hits quads, hams, and glutes. It just depends on how much emphasis you want to put on a specific area. And if you want a little bit of both, split the difference and put your foot kind of in the middle. So once you are able to Bulgarian split squat to depth, so where the back knee is making contact with the floor, there are 2 tracks you can go on. Track number 1 is to start adding weights. But for my money, once you get past the age of 40 and you are fighting to hold on to all your physical attributes for the rest of your life, a much better option is to focus on going even deeper, right? Because at depth, I'm still, depending on my leverage, basically just hitting parallel. In some cases, I may even be a little bit above. And although you can still get plenty strong just by going this low, there is a lot of gold to be had by getting into that deeper knee bend. I'm gonna use a weight plate because I'm in a gym and I have one handy. If you're at home, you can just use a block of wood or something. Just make sure it's solid and isn't wobbly. Once again, we're gonna build from the bottom up. Already, there's a much greater stretch on this back quad and this back hip, which is money. We want that. We want to keep all of this open. From here, as I come up, it's exactly the same as we've been doing, right? Nothing changes other than now I have further to go. So now my hip's getting even lower. And how high you're going to make this step and how deep you're going to go is really dependent on your own personal levels of flexibility. But generally, we want to get the maximum pain-free range of motion out of this exercise. And then once you're able to do this, then you can start adding weight. And then you will be developing some very legitimate levels of both lower body mobility and single leg strength. So now let's talk loading, right? How you would load this up. 3 ways you could basically hold a weight. You can hold it on this side, you can hold it on this side, or you can hold it in a goblet position. And the dirty truth of the matter is, until you get really heavy, they're all basically the same. Goblet load is going to be better for kettlebells because if you hold the kettlebell here, depending on how you're built, you may actually hit the ground with the kettlebell before you hit depth. You can fix that by keeping your shoulder up and back, but that seems like a lot to worry about. So easier to just hold the kettlebell here. I do not like double kettlebells held in the front rack for this exercise. For me, it's a little too much instability, feels a little sketchy. If you want to do 2 kettlebells, you can hold them here. Remember, if you are using bells because they hang lower, just pull the shoulders back to give yourself the ability to make contact. If the shoulders are lazy, you're going to hit the floor first. That isn't a factor if you are doing the version where the front foot is elevated. You obviously have more space, so you don't have to be too concerned with that. And if you choose to use dumbbells, which for my money are a more convenient tool for this particular exercise, then you don't have to worry about them making contact with the floor and you can be a little bit more relaxed in your shoulders. As far as programming goes, a good rep range to work your Bulgarian split squats in is that 6 to 8 rep range. These are not a good exercise to go super low rep on, like in that 1 to 3. The instability of the position really doesn't lend itself well to that. You could do higher rep if you hate yourself and you enjoy pain, because they will light your thighs up 4 days. Another common question is, do you do both sides back to back, or can you do one side, take a break, do the other side, take a break and repeat? For my money, option 2 is best. In fact, if you are able to do 8 reps on one side, immediately turn around and do 8 reps on the other side, it's a good indication that those 8 reps weren't really that hard. This is a lift that once you are able to do it, ticks so many boxes that it's a true evergreen. Combine this with a Romanian deadlift or kettlebell swings or back hypers, and you basically have your lower body taken care of. This is one of those lifts that could and should be in your program more often than it's not. It does so much, so well. You get strength, You get hip mobility, you get balance, and you get it all without beating up your low back. So much win for one exercise. Downside, you don't get that for free. These are hard. But you know what else is hard? Growing old and growing weak. So choose your hard wisely. Keep these in your program and they will keep you strong and athletic for life. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video today. I really appreciate it. If you found the information in it useful, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel so much. Thanks again. I appreciate you and I'll see you in the next video.